sponsored by Mars and Lamar Chamber of Commerce and the Lamar County Farm Bureau. Glad to see you here. My name is Scott Mayfield. I am Vice Chairman of the Chamber of Commerce. I see it here as the President-elect. They told me I was Vice Chair, but nobody mentioned President-elect. So this is what I get for missing too many meetings. But nevertheless, welcome on behalf of the Chamber and Farm Bureau. I know all of your elections like this don't quite get the publicity, but the big elections do. But nevertheless, if you live in the city limits of Barnes, if you live in Milner, this is a very important election to you, just as important as the even year elections are to the state county votes. We've got 2 seats up for grabs in Barnes and 2 seats up for grabs in Milner. And that can make a big swing one way or another in the philosophy of how a city does business. So please tell your friends who are here tonight, tell your neighbors that just because this is an odd year and there's nothing state or federal about it is important, please get out and vote. So there's one thing we've seen very recently, 1, 2, 5 votes can make a lot of difference, particularly in municipalities the size of these. With that said, I'm going to turn it over to our mayor, Honorable Peter Banks, who's going to lead us in our invocation.
Will you bow your heads, please? Our Father in heaven, thank you for making us the most blessed people on the face of the earth, living in the most blessed nation on earth. Help us always to deserve these blessings by living our lives in the way that you would have us live. We ask your blessings on this evening's forum, and we especially ask your blessing on these candidates who offer themselves and their egos to the cruel judgment of the ballot box. Remind us that the election process is about choices we make, and that this precious freedom is one our forefathers fought and died for. It is one that requires our thoughtful and courteous attention. Lastly, Father, give us empathy, humility, and the courage to do your will in our lives. In the name of your Son, Jesus, we ask this prayer. Amen.
And now I'm going to turn it over to our moderator tonight, Walter Geiger.
How many of you have been to one of these things before? We're going to do this a little differently tonight. We break up the city and ward votes. This time we're going to do the same question for the people in both wards, try to run a little faster. So make sure that you know who is running against who when we get started there. And we'll have Peter come up and draw 3 questions that were submitted by the public. And the people in each ward are going to be answering the same question, so we'll get you will take 1 second or 5 seconds to turn your cell phone off, put it on silent or whatever. Do whatever go ahead and put it Q2. It's always goes wrong. It says here that I'm going to introduce the candidates, but they're going to actually do opening statement first. It's 5 minutes long, so I'll just kind of let them introduce themselves. We're starting on this side. We have Neil Devane, and then Larry Whitworth, T.J. Emberger, and Mark Stone. And again, these 2 are in Ward 4, those 2 on the far side are in Ward 5. We're going to do run all at the same time. They're not all 4 running against each other. These 2 are on each other. Basically, the program has rules in it. You guys have got your mics turned on. You'll have 5 minutes for the opening statements. You have Mark's timer. He's going to give you a 30-second warning. You're going second warning, then you'll hit the bell. When you hit the bell, finish the sentence and hurry. You want to stop before the bell, that's soon all those things too. So we'll start off with board 4 opening statements. Neil, you're first.
Hello. I want to thank all of you here tonight. There's so much going on in our lives, I can see how it's hard to find time outside the ordinary to be here. As you know, I am Robert Neal Devane, the incumbent candidate for Ward 4. I have lived in Barnesville going on 35 years. I served 23 of those years as a firefighter and fire chief of the city of Barnesville. My wife of 30 years, Sherry, is employed with the United Bank operations. All 3 of our children, whom we are very proud of, are products of the Lamar County school system. All 3 of our children, Robert, Megan, and Jeannie, are graduates of Gordon College. Just about the time Sherry and I think it's safe to go back in the water, Megan or Jeannie are back at Gordon. Most of you know that Jeannie is a deputy with Lamar County. Megan is now a nurse at Piedmont Fayetteville, and our son Robert is a GBI agent with the state and an Air National Guardsman working out of Dobbins Air Force Base. Robert, my son, and his wife Rebecca reside in North Lamar County, and they're raising 3 wonderful grandkids that we love and adore. The last 4 years of my life as a city councilman has been an educational and a rewarding experience. 4 years ago, after I was elected, I had to make an important decision. Was I going to be a troublemaker and disrupt it and challenge the progress of the city, or be a team player? Well, I will tell you straight up, my problem with the city was this big. The problems that challenged the city were this big. I focused on the big picture and I have been nothing but a gentleman when it comes to the business of the city of Barnesville. If re-elected, I will continue to focus on the good of the city and its fine citizens. Believe me, this city has had some real big challenges that we have had to take on in the last 4 years. Mother Teresa once said, "I cannot change the world, but I can cast one stone." I stand here tonight and I can say I have cast a stone. I can stand here tonight and say that every member of the Barnesville City Council has cast a stone, but I have to say I could not have done that without the help of other council members. We have been a team. We have been dedicated. From the mayor and council, I have learned collaboration, policy development, and how to be a good listener, and learned an electric approach to problem solving. What do I want? The question should be, what do the constituents want? You want tax dollars spent wisely. You want the growth of the city of Barnesville to be aesthetic to what our community stands for. You want the challenges of the community to be head on with positive outcome. We want our growth to be environmentally friendly for the sustainable future of our children. A balanced budget that is actually balanced, but not balanced by gimmicks. We want adequate fire and police protection. Just recently in our budget, we added funds for a new night patrolman that will make a big impact on crime that is filtering down from the metro area. I want our small town businesses to thrive. We have a very active downtown area that we are proud of. I drive through other towns near dark, you see no cars. You drive into Barnesville, you might have to park at the bank and walk to the stores. We all want downtown to stay user-friendly. And that is my voice and that is my opening statement.
Larry, you're next.
Okay. I'm Larry Whitworth. First of all, thank you, Farm Bureau. Thank you, Chamber, for the opportunity to sit here tonight and introduce myself again to y'all. I'm a Barnesville native, born in Barnesville. I grew up to the age of 6, and my family moved to Atlanta, where I stayed until I was 16, and when my father passed away, my mom and I moved back, and where I completed Gordon Military High School. Being an Atlanta boy raised, I went back to Atlanta to school at Georgia Tech, where I completed a bachelor's and a master's in textiles. From there, when I graduated people in General Tire Outdoor have been nice to me and give me summer jobs. So just on one day, I said, I'm going to go down there and interview with General Tire. Because Mr. Noonan and Mr. Watson were so nice to give me a summer job. And from that simple interview, I started a 44-year, 11-month career with General Tire. I left Barnesville, went to Toledo, Ohio, and worked for 3.5 years. So I worked in Akron for 5.5 years. And in 1974, on a snowy November day, a guy called me and said, would you be interested in working in our textile plant in Barnesville, Georgia? My answer was, you've never read my personnel file. What time does the bus leave? I came back home and I came back to Outdoor as the quality manager for our plant where I started in May of '74 and served to June of last year. That plant is a progressive plant serving tire cord needs around the world. It's ISO certified around the world for its quality system. I know it is because I wrote the program, and it's still being certified. While in Ohio, I joined the Army National Guard, went through the Officer Candidate Program. When I graduated Officer Candidate Program, I went to Officer Basic, Officer Advanced, and Commanding General Staff. In the Guard, I served as a platoon leader, an XO, a company commander, a logistics officer, a transportation officer, and I wound up with a 22-year career, and my last assignment was in Atlanta in the personnel office. I retired from the Guard as a major. I'm proud to say that I'm a member of the First United Methodist Church on Thomason Street here in Barnesville. There I serve as a Sunday school teacher. I'm the chairman of the Pastor Parish Relations Committee. I've served on various and all committees within the church. I'm a certified lay speaker. I'm also the lay voting delegate to annual conference. The other things in my life that mean a lot to me, I'm an Eagle Scout. I'm proud of being an Eagle Scout. I currently work for Cub Pack 17, and one of my best things I've done in quite a while. Last year I was asked to, and I did, a God in Me award for 7 little boys here in Lamar County, introducing them to God and the world and how it functions. And just proud to say that all 7 of them completed the program. All of this is an attempt to tell you who I am and why I'm seeking this office. I'm seeking this office because Barnesville's in my heart and soul. I've been on the council before. I was elected twice in Ward 5. Really enjoyed the service and contributed to the community. I'm a team player, but I want to make sure that the voice of the people is heard. And when you elect me and you cast that vote on November the 5th, or you can start on October the 14th, if what Scott said is true, we don't want a low percentage in this election just because it's an off year. When you cast that vote, you can be assured that this old boy will represent you to the fullest. Yeah, I will be your voice in the community. I'm not a harasser, I'm not a haranguer, but I am a person that expects to get what we all deserve, and that's properly represented. With all that being said, thank you again for the opportunity to be here tonight. And if you don't know me, when we get finished with this, I'll be glad to go over this real slow one more time. Thank you.
TJ.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity for being here. My name is TJ Amberger, and I'm vying for the 5th Ward City Council. I believe I'll make a good councilman because of my combination of extensive community service and government operation experience. I've lived in Lamar County for 25 years. I've been a resident of the city of Barnesville for 15 years. Been married to my wife Sherry for 25 years. We have a 22-year-old daughter and a 10-month-old grandson, Will, or we call Boogie. My community service started when I first came to Lamar County as a volunteer fireman for fire and rescue. After a few years, I co-founded the Lamar County Volunteer Firefighters Association, which was founded so that we could purchase equipment for our firefighters. I'm a past chair of the Lamar County Family Connection, a past board member of the Lamar County Recreation Board, where I helped design the first master plan for facilities in Lamar County. I'm an active member of our church, First United Methodist, here on Thomaston Street, and active in the youth program. My daughter spent 7 years in the youth program. Once she became too old, I stayed and have been there for the last 5 years. I also helped create the first youth-only mission trip, and we'll be going on our 6th one this summer. I'm a past vice chair of the Chamber of Commerce. I was very active in the Girl Scout program with my daughter, and we actually designed the first ever local powder puff derby while she was a Girl Scout. I'm currently chairman of the Barbecue and Blues Festival, chairman of the Summer in the Sticks Festival, co-chair of the Buggy Days, and chairman of the Business After Hours program for the Chamber of Commerce. All these events have given me the personal experience and pleasure in dealing with our employees of the city of Barnesville. They're all very professional. They're all experts in their field, and I believe that experience over the last 5 or 6 years will help me as a councilman. And I also currently serve as the vice president of our local Kiwanis Club. Currently, I'm employed with Spalding County as the superintendent of parks and public grounds. Been there for 21 years. Last 15 years, I'm a member of the Countywide Accident Review Committee, and 3 years ago became a member of the Budget Review Committee, which was instituted so that we could save millions of dollars for the taxpayers of Spalding County to get through a budget year. Since then, we meet monthly and quarterly so that we can maintain budgets for the taxpayers of Spalding County. On the state level, I've been a member of the Georgia Recreation and Parks Association for 21 years. I've served on every statewide committee in that organization, served as State Board of Trustee for 12 years, and will go back on that board in November as I was just recently elected the 4th District Commissioner for that group. And I've also a past vice chair of the Historical Heartland Travel Association, which is run by the state of Georgia. And as a city council member, I'll be available 24 hours 7, and will always be there for our constituents. Thank you.
Mark.
Good evening. My name is Mark Stone. I'm councilman for Ward 5 currently and the incumbent. I appreciate you coming out tonight to hear us. I certainly want to thank the Lamar County Chamber of Commerce and the Farm Bureau for sponsoring this forum. We are all capable of leading in the capacity of city councilmen. We've got a good slate of candidates, I believe. There are some differences between us, but again, your city is in good hands no matter who you elect. I especially want to thank all my constituents for their overwhelming support and for the allowing me to put my signs in their yards. I'm sure y'all haven't seen any of those signs. On November 5th, I ask that you go to the polls or to early vote on October 14th and cast your vote to elect me as your Ward 5 City Council representative once again for a second term. I want to be your choice for the second term. I want to also ask for your vote tonight. I am married to Mary Beth Pierman Stone. She wore a yellow sweater so she would be a little bit thin up here. Proud of my wife. I have 2 daughters. She was born here, by the way, in the infirmary up there, which is now the police station on Gordon campus. We have 2 daughters, a son-in-law, and 2 grandsons that live in Macon. I'm a graduate of West Georgia, as is my wife, with a degree in sociology and psychology. I'm a veteran of the United States Navy, 8 years. Currently, I work for Dining Alliance. I'm the director of business programs, meaning that we represent over 18,000 restaurants throughout the United States. I set up programs with FedEx, Ecolab, Office Max, people like that. 3 mission trips to Costa Rica, 34 years in the office products industry dealing with independents on state, regional, and national committees. 3-year chairman of the Great Day of Service. This is my 3rd year we're going into. Founder of the Community Dad and Daughter Dance. American Legion member, Post 25. Founder of the City Neighborhood Watch Program, which is being extended by one of our finest, the Lamar County Sheriff's Department, Suzanne Cooper. Suzanne, if you'll stand up for a minute. Real proud of that. She's got some decals for you and a brochure if you'd like to be a part of that program. Rotarian for 14 years. Andy Bush is our president of Rotary right now. We do a lot within the community, a lot of projects. I was past president in 2010 and 11. Raised $39,000 last year to send 108 at-risk kids to Camp Grace down in Roberta. 32 of those kids came from our own community. Spearheading the effort currently to save our Lamar County Activity Center. This is huge, 26 acres out here. We chance losing the program, which services 90 kids, has 18 employees and brings in $500,000 a year to our city. Helped initiate with Dorothy Carter. Dorothy, if you're here, please stand up. Lamar County Family Connection Collaborative, an incredible body of folks, the Child Sexual Abuse Training Program. I am the first local government official to be trained in that program. I represent the city the last 4 years on the Lamar County Foundation Connection Collaborative on all issues. On search committee for our new Lamar County High School football coach, we did pretty well on that one, folks. Undefeated. My community heroes who I have worked closely with on many, many projects, quickly, Dorothy Carter, Renee English. If you're here, stand up, please. Dr. Bill Truby, Andy Bush, Philip Bell, Angela Mack, and of course, Brad White and Suzanne Cooper. I thank you. Also, our first responders and our city staff. I can't say enough about our city staff and our city leadership. Our city staff makes me look really good as a city councilman. That's all I can say. Quick response. Community heroes, they get the things done in our community. In closing, I believe that my experience having earned 48 hours of specialized Georgia Municipality Association city government training serves you well. I also am the only city councilman serving on 2 policy committees right now in the state, and that's Community Development and Public Safety Committees. That I possess the experience, of course, to continue to be your city councilman, and I appreciate that opportunity to serve the Ward 5 residents. I want to continue to focus on military men and women in Barnesville, in Lamar County. I also want to support the proposed homestead exemption for taxpayers over 70 that is on the ballot. Thank you very much.
All right, we did those opening statements in alphabetical order, and now we have 3 questions submitted by the public. Candidates got these questions this afternoon. They don't know which 3 to pull out of the jar. And we're going to rotate the order in which we answer, and then the closing statement's going to be in reverse alphabetical order, so try to make sure nobody gets the last word every time. And the first question that was submitted by the public is, what particular experience and or educational achievement do you have that will help you contribute as a council member? And on this one, Larry, you go first.
Okay. I talked about my education just briefly, but after I started to work, I got a wealth of education in financial control, management, control of people, dealing with people, dealing with budgets, the whole 9 yards. It is a very successful company. I said that to tell you I know what a budget looks like, it's supposed to look like, and once I acclimate myself, I should know how it works. Okay, so I have plenty of experience. 44 years and 11 months in one place. I'm like a dinosaur. Nobody stays in a place that long anymore. But I love General Tiger. Okay, and that's why I stay. That's why I'm back here in Barnesville. I love Barnesville. But I've been a unit commander. I know how to do finances through the military system. We've done all kinds of things as far as being able to do the addition and subtraction for management. That's what it's all about. But the most important key to that management is communicating it to your employees and then your constituents. Because if people get a perception of something negative without the proper information, it comes an albatross that will drag the whole system down. And as a candidate, I like to go out and talk to people all the time. My wife used to say I talk to a tree if it would listen to me. I like to talk to people, and I like to make sure that my people are informed on what's there and what's going to be coming up and what it's all about. Okay? So that's basically me. I hear a lot of negative statements, but I don't embellish those things. I want to know the facts before I open my mouth, but I have the skills to handle the situation. That's it.
Neil.
I have almost 30 years of being involved in the local Barnesville government, and as fire chief, and then as... Here we go again. I've had almost 30 years of being involved with the city of Barnesville government. That is fire chief and 4 years as a city council member. I'm a certified elected official with the Georgia Municipal Associations. My travel as a reporter and my watchful eye on other communities as they share their successes and failures, with resolve of failures, not in my community, not on my watch. Thank you.
Mark, you're next.
Yes, my particular experience I've shared a little bit with you in the opening statement. However, 4 years of city council service is pretty good training in general. The Georgia Municipalities Association courses that we take, from finance to community development to ethics, I mean, they're intense. And so, having completed 48 hours and looking forward to another 48 hours, I will even get better. I'm here, I'm available, I'm responsive. I have a degree, I have numerous courses of training in sales and marketing and service and budgeting. You know, a lot of us have that up here. Again, I believe that that will bode me well in representing you, the organizations that I've been involved with recently, within the last 2, 3, 4 years, the projects, the activities, the results. All of that adds up, and you take an event like Great Day of Service, or you take a Lamar Family Collaborative like Dorothy who walked in. Those are great experiences. You listen, you learn, and then you go act. Thank you.
TJ.
Thank you. I have a degree in Parks and Grounds Operation and Management. For the last 25 years, I have served in the public, working for 3 different governments, 21 for Spalding County. During that time frame, I have assisted in design and implementation of several large SPLOST projects, upwards of up to $100 million of all public facilities. Recently, we just completed a $3.5 million senior center that I was directly involved in the management and construction of. My department with Spalding County has experienced budget pains like everyone else. In the last 6 years, we're working at $1 million less than we were. During that time, however, on $1 million less, we were able to expand our facilities, our acreage, we maintained our labor rates, and we achieved the #1 park agency in the state of Georgia during that time. So I'm very experienced in maintaining tax dollars and doing a lot more with a lot less.
Okay, thank you. Our next question, submitted by the public, is why is it necessary to spend $15 million for a new water treatment plant? And Neil, you're first this time.
The water treatment plant,
It's number 5. Next question.
I heard you take 5. No. Our water treatment plant. Our water treatment plant is going on 30 years old. It does not have the ability to handle the capacity now being discharged into the plant. You can call that effluent. A new facility would be state-of-the-art and would carry us at least 30 to 50 years into the future. The council 2 years ago visited a plant that is very similar to the one being built here in Noonan, Georgia. APD and EPD puts stringent hold on communities with water treatment plants. You know, it's okay to drink maybe 25 parts per million of copper sulfate in water, something like that. But when it goes through the system, you can't just put the 5 parts back of it back in the ground. And it's amazing that they want you to be able to drink this, but they don't want you to dump it on the ground. And when we get our sewer treatment plant, we'll have a state-of-the-art laboratory. And this council voted on a resolution for a new water treatment plant will carry us almost another 30 to 50 years into the future. And that is one thing that is going to help keep down the cost of the going up on water treatment and your cost of your bills when you receive it each month.
Just to clarify, this is the wastewater treatment plant. The question was written as water treatment plant. This is the wastewater treatment plant.
very simple. If we're going to present ourselves as a progressive, moving forward city that's ready to accept what our young folks deserve, and that's growth and opportunities, we have to be equipped. The current system, as Neil said, has some age on it. And what we want to be sure that Barnesville has, and they can stand forward, and I believe we need, is to be able to look our new residents are coming in and potential new businesses straight in the eye and say we have the very best services that you'll receive in this part of the state. If this $15 million gets us there, folks, we need that because this thing impacts every one of us. And like Neil says, the EPA, EPD is very particular about what goes as effluent water into systems. That can affect a lot of things. But when we flush our toilets, we're giving them a problem. And we want to make sure that we have the capacity to handle that both today and in the future so that Barnesville can grow. And I told somebody yesterday, the sign at one time, I remember growing up to a sign that said, Barnesville, Peter, the city with a forward look. And folks, I look forward to seeing Barnesville every time I leave it. That's where I am. Yes, we needed the potential growth and expansion and service to you, the citizens of the community.
TJ.
It's my understanding that this new plant will double our capacity here in the city. I think it's simply put, you need all the tools in the toolbox that you can get. And this is one of those necessary tools.
Mark.
Well, the first issue is the health and welfare of our residents. We cannot afford to be in a situation that's dangerous. Many folks have already said that up here. We are under the EPD requirements. We don't meet them currently. We don't have the luxury of deciding whether we want to participate or not. We have to. It's our city's leadership and council responsibility to make sure that we provide for the growth and for the new technology. Our technology and the system we have now doesn't even comply to the new technology. So there are a number of things that this will remedy going forward. However, it's a 30-year useful life. That's important. That's twice the capacity we got. It's a 30-year useful life that's going to carry us into the future. And guess what? We'll have to do it again then. So it's not something that's fixed and remedied for the distant future. These are issues that have to be dealt with in cycles. And our council has to deal with them and has to face up to finding the money, the funds, and to be able to move forward with this plan so we can project for growth, for safety, for a number of things. I can tell you that if we don't do it, we're open to fines. And what a shame to pay fines for not acting and to continue to pay fines for not acting. You've heard about Atlanta. They have a major problem up there. We have a problem or a opportunity, a challenge that we can deal with because we're smaller and we've got great leadership and we've got great reporting, great budgeting, and recap of all information as the process goes forward by our city leadership. Thank you.
Okay, our third and final question from the public is why is the city trying to get the county to purchase the old National Guard building that houses the activity center? And Larry, you're first this time.
Thank you, Walter. I was actually involved in, I don't know how many people know that, semi-involved in that whole swap around, as I call it, when that thing was created. At one time, there was a maternity shelter on Gordon Road that Gordon wanted. There was a football field that Gordon had that the school system wanted. And there was a school building out here on Gordon Road the school system had the school building out there that they wanted to use, and the military wanted to get a place for the National Guard to be housed. Okay, so it all worked out that we swapped between Gordon, the city, and the Board of Education, and we wound up with that school building. Why we want to exactly purchase that building, Walter, I got a question about it because I don't know enough about that right now to adequately answer that question. But knowing where it is and what it is and what's wrong with it, I do know what's wrong with it. I had quite a conversation about that this afternoon. I think it would be, more research needs to be done. Number one, we need to look at the building itself and the investment it would cost. And if what I'm hearing was anywhere close to right, it would be better to level the building and start all over again, because you're going to inherit an EPA nightmare. I know what the guard got when they got it. They got an EPA nightmare. There's asbestos in that building, folks. Okay? So I'm saying, I have questions and reservations about even purchasing that building. Well, you know who it belongs to now? The DOD, Department of Defense. Okay? It belongs to the National Guard. Not the National Guard, the Department of Defense. So if the government holds it, let's wait a while and let them hold it more until we figure out what we really need to do.
Steve.
Short and sweet on this. The city is not in the business of being a consultant. The mayor, our Mayor Banks, and Councilman Stone have done a lot of research and studying on this project. And all they want to do is share their information with Lamar County. And that's all I have to say about it.
Mark, your name.
Well, I was hoping this would come up because I actually started this process over a year ago. What the process involved was to save 26 acres, but more importantly, save a 20-year history of a program called the Activity Center with Angela Mack leading or directing that program. 20 employees, or up to 20 employees, $500,000 brought in grant money from the Morehouse School of Medicine each year. And then also 90 kids that are being serviced. These are at-risk kids. So after they're at school, they're able to engage in programs where they learn public speaking, they learn ballet, they learn fencing, a number of different programs. And they do it quite well. The mayor and I have attended their last 3 graduation ceremonies the last 3 years. To hear these kids get up at microphones and speak is pretty incredible. And it all comes out of that program. They also landed a nationally renowned program called Carrera Program. Again, very important. Now, the 26 acres has to be in the building, which has got some historical Booker T history to it, so there's other issues involved with it. It has to be deeded over to a city, county, or board of education. The property's in the county. We actually were able to reach Senator Albers up in Roswell, and the Roswell Rotary Club, by the way. It's funny how connections happen. And he introduced us to the Georgia National Guard. And the Georgia National Guard called us 1 week later, and we were at a meeting. And they were willing to work with us because kids and families were being affected in a very positive way by our community, either the county or the city or the Board of Education. In my opinion, it makes more business for the county to have the property and to use it in the future to develop future recreational areas and to protect the programs that Angela Mack runs right now for these kids.
TJ.
Angela does do an excellent job out there. It's my understanding that the city also has an excellent after-school program they run at the E.P. Roberts Center, and their interest is not to duplicate services.
Okay. No, we can't, we're not going to deviate from the script. We'll have to do everybody else. Now we have time for you guys to ask a question of your opponent. This is not a question for the whole panel to answer. This is a question for you and your opponent to answer. And again, the answer time will be 2 minutes. And Neil, you're first to ask Larry a question.
I have to say, I have no questions.
Larry, would you like to ask me a question?
No, sir, I don't have a question to ask.
TJ, would you like to ask Mark a question?
I'm running for the position and not against anybody, no, sir.
Mark, would you like to ask TJ a question?
I believe whoever is elected this cycle for Ward 5 City Councilman will do a good job. Thank you. I have no questions.
I assume since you didn't have a first question, you don't have a second question either, so we don't know. Not me now, that's what it is. We're going to go on to the closing statements, which are 2 minutes in reverse order the way open statements were, and Larry, you first.
You know, I need to apologize to a very important person.
Use the mic, Larry.
I have to. I need to apologize to a very important person in my life. 1967, December 23rd, God gave me an angel. That was my wife, Carolyn. She's not here anymore, but she was the best thing that ever happened to me. You know what? She was a Barnesville girl. She loved Barnesville like I love Barnesville. And I'm here because I have Barnesville in my heart. I want Barnesville to move forward. I want everybody to be informed. And I want you to come out on the 5th of November and cast your vote for me. Because I promise you, on that day, when I'm elected and I take that office, you can call. I put my number on my little cards, and it's for a reason. That's a 724 number, folks. You can call me anytime you want to. I'll talk to you. I'll come see you. I'll do what you want me to do. I'll do my best to see that you're represented and the information from the city is passed down to you as well as the constituents' information is passed back to the city. And with that I say, I love my wife, Carol Ann, and I love Barnesville. So thank y'all.
Thank you. Neil.
Everyone that lives in this room or lives in Barnesville is very fortunate to live in this fine community. I chose Barnesville for what it offered to me: a job, a secure place for me and my family. My family has been blessed here. There are communities that are not so fortunate as ours. We do not want bad things here. Earlier I quoted about throwing a stone. Not a bad stone, but a stone that turns into a building block, a powerful building block, a block that builds us into the future, a good, honest future. We all have seen the good and bad in people. I have been met on the front porch or drive way by an upset constituent. Some say I have not done a whole lot, but I beg they're different. I have worked hard for Barnesville. I do a lot behind the scenes many of you do not see. Every person on this council has done their role to be a council member and to be on this board. I ask you, citizens, to get involved in your community. Call the mayor or the city manager and volunteer. Then pick up that positive stone and toss it into a building block. And let's move forward with the city of Barnesville. I hope that I will be elected again on November 5th. God bless you and thank you all.
Mark.
Once again, I wish to thank each of you for coming out tonight to listen to the candidates, also the sponsors. I want to again ask for your vote. I believe Barnesville is a wonderful, great, small city that has a future that's huge. We have opportunity, we're in good financial shape, and it's exciting to serve. It's a lot of work, a lot of pay. That was a joke, folks. But it's an honor to serve. Our major community asset, in my opinion, is our children. My platform is very simple. It's faith, family, and freedom. I take all those seriously. I am experienced, I am available, and I am responsive. I take action. I think everyone that you might ask that have dealt with me has gotten a solution quickly. It's not so much about buildings, roads, or events, but it is about our hearts and minds of our children and our citizens that make us one. It's about those heroes I mentioned earlier that make it happen in our communities, the behind-the-scenes work that they do. I'm committed to making our great city the best it can be. My position is covered today in the Gazette. I would hope that you'd go read it further so you could learn a little more about what I stand for. Please remember to go vote early next Monday, October 14th, and on Tuesday, November the 5th. Again, I'd like to ask for your vote. God bless each of you. Thank you.
TJ.
I tell everybody I know that Barnesville's a great city. My family loves Barnesville. My daughter just recently moved back with our grandson. And I hope to use my experience to represent everybody in the 5th Ward and make Barnesville a great city for my grandson. Thank you.
Let's give all 4 candidates a round of applause. We still have a million candidates too before you got it.
I thought he dismissed it.